Brian, how satisfied are you with how this team is built and set up and ready to get into an American Hockey League season?
Yeah, obviously we got a lot of good players, a good mix of veteran, experienced guys and young guys, and I thought we made a lot of progress last season in terms of evolving our culture and improving the environment that we have for developing players. And just got a new staff in here, a lot of change, but certainly excited. A lot of good guys, and looking forward to getting going on Saturday.
What can you say about this new coaching staff as well and how they arrive here?
Yeah, we got 3 guys that we brought in this year, and John Gruden, Eric Wellwood, and Michael Dick. Grudes, I worked with him in the U.S. program, I don't know, 7 or 8 years ago before he went to Flint, and then on to Hamilton and then to the NHL. So to me, as we built out a staff, I always sort of view a coaching staff really not as a head coach and 2 assistants, but as a collection of people that can compound each other and fill in each other's gaps and be working in a way that they can all, maximize what each other brings. So, in head coach, I was looking for a guy certainly with the experience that John had, but also the leadership qualities that he has and the passion that he has for teaching. So that was important. And then Welly is a great up and coming young coach that we have had in our system in Newfoundland. Did a great job for us there. So I want to continue to develop him and grow with him. And Michael Dick is a lot of experience in the Western Hockey League, working with high-level prospects in junior and a lot of experience with Hockey Canada too. So we got a good mix of young and old to go with Hanu and Troy, and a lot of guys that have a passion for teaching and a good focus on developing, creating the culture that we want to have here.
I notice Eric hasn't been at practice in the last couple of days. What's the reason behind that?
Yeah, he's taken a medical leave for an indefinite amount of time. He's okay. I'm in contact with him all the time, and I know people are wondering where he is, but obviously anytime you have a medical situation, just for respect for the family and for Eric as he works through that process, that's probably all we'll touch on with that.
Just curious, it's sort of not with the Marlies, but Matt Cook, how did that come about to be the Growlers head coach?
Yeah, so the Growlers, obviously we were pretty late in the game this summer, looking for a coach as we've sorted through our agreement with them. And, Matt had reached out to me previously when we had the opening with the Marlies, and so I passed his name along to the guys in Newfoundland. And then as part of that process, he and I spent some time together, and he came in here for a few days, and I think we all had some sort of preconceived notions based on how he was as a player, of what he might be as a coach, and I found him to be a really intelligent guy that had a great passion for teaching and was able to reflect on his experience as a player, and certainly it was a different time, a different game then, but in some of those instances, and so we were all comfortable that what he's going to do with the players from a coaching standpoint, the passion that he'd have for that, based on the experience that he has of over 1,000 games and winning the Stanley Cup. And he would be the first to tell you that he's probably a much different style as a coach as he was as a player. So he's a good guy. I'm excited to work with him in the partnership that we got in Newfoundland, and hopefully we'll have a good season there as we have for the last handful of years.
Marshall Rafai, too, coming into last season on an AHL contract, and then he locks in an NHL deal. What did he do to get that, and then what do you hope to see from him this season?
Yeah, I think one of the great things every year is when guys come in here and are able to convert those contracts from American League to NHL. Obviously, we had Marshall, Stoner with Pittsburgh, and Hoff in Edmonton. So that's a great, area that we take pride in to develop that and continue it going. As it relates specifically to Marshall, I thought he did a great job coming in last year, particularly in the first half of the year when the Leafs were decimated with injuries and we were decimated with injuries. And, he came in first-year professional, and him and Tommy Miller at one point there in the middle were eating first pair of minutes against top competition. And like we talked about last year, his skating is world-class. He's a competitive guy. He has an incredible passion for hockey, incredible passion for getting better at hockey. He spends a lot of time focused on his nutrition, a ton of time focused on what he's doing in the gym with his body. And for me, in terms of areas of growth, I think that sometimes the passion and the care level that he has for competing and for being part of a team and to try to achieve his NHL dream. Sometimes maybe that tenses him up, and so I want to make sure that with the puck he's continuing to make clean decisions and growing confidence in that area. And I think if he can do that with all the things that he has, in the 6'2" frame that he has, there really certainly is a prospect there and a guy that we're excited about.
You've got kind of a clean slate with Joseph and Eric Shalgren having moved on. How do you plan to approach the goaltending situation this year?
Yeah, great question. Obviously, Martin Jones has an incredible amount of experience and is an NHL capable goaltender at this moment right now. We probably, if I'm completely honest, we're a little bit surprised that he got through waivers and arrived here with us. But again, our primary focus, and Brad has reiterated this really from the moment he got here, is on developing the players and developing prospects. And we got a couple young goalies here on NHL contracts, and Hildeby and Petrozelli, and then we've got Pexa and we've got Kavlin and McKay as well on AHL contracts. So I think what we'll do here in the short term is probably let Petrozelli and Hildeby take the net for a little while, make sure we get enough opportunity for Martin Jones to stay fresh and get experience in here. And every time I think with a goalie plan, you lay out a plan. Injuries happen, weird things happen, and goalie is a funny position. So I've got a plan. It'll probably adjust next week, and we'll go for it as best we can.
John, getting just a little bit closer here to go time on Saturday, working on special teams today. Satisfied with how practice went?
Well, I was satisfied with practice. Again, I love the energy. I love the pace. We're trying to get some chemistry with the power play units, but I haven't been on a practice running a power play in the last 10 years where the PK doesn't look better than the power play. So I'm fine with that. We just want to make sure they get their touches and they understand where each other is going to be, and it takes a little bit of time for that. So it's exciting.
A little tougher to get the power play going at the beginning of the season rather than the PK, which seems a little bit more reactive.
Yeah, and again, they don't, in power plays they don't want to shoot. You got to still shoot to soften up the PK, and guys don't want to hit ankles and they don't want to get tip pucks. It's normal. So it's exciting though. It's a pretty energetic group that I know is ready for Saturday.
How do you motivate Nick Robertson, knowing year after year he's come so close to the NHL?
Well, his job as coach is to find out. Every person's different. Before I can, really talk to him about his hockey, I want to get to know him better. One thing is I'm a little familiar with him because I was in Detroit when he was at Little Caesars, and my son and him were 1 year apart, so we did joint practices. So I have a little bit of relationship there, but I think, again, I got to get to know him, know his game, and where his strengths are, and what he can do to improve to help him just be a better player.
Anything about him so far in your time?
I'm just gathering that information, but he's willing to learn. One thing I really like about Nick is he's a hockey player. He's got a lot of energy. He wants to be on the ice, and he wants the puck. So those are good qualities. Competitive, so those are good qualities to have as a hockey player.
Why do you like that line of Steves, Holmberg, and Robertson?
Again, it's a following out. It's a starting point for us. I like them because it has different dynamics. You got some speed. You got some guys who can make plays, and guys that are willing to go and get into the dirty areas. So again, we're going to see how they how their chemistry and how they grow as a line. But there's a lot of things to be excited about as our staff is about the 4 lines and the 5 lines that we have.
For those of us unaware, what's kind of the plan for the goaltenders this year in terms of who's going to own the majority of the starts?
Yeah, again, we've discussed that we have to keep everybody sharp. I think that's going to be early on. It's probably going to be more of a rotation based, because guys are going to need their reps, and reps aren't the same as practice they are as a game. So something we'll all lean on each other for, and then we'll discuss. But at the end of the day, they all have to stay sharp.